something that should go without saying, but apparently needs to be said, is that martial arts are not religions. And there's a couple of reasons to bring that up. I have brought up in the past how flags don't own martial arts, right? Martial arts are created by people. And yes, the culture and the society and the context that it springs up in is important for sure, because the local pressures that something faces is going to directly influence its evolution. I mean, that's how this stuff works. That's how R&D works. You can only adapt to the problems that you can solve, the problems that you know exist. However, right, if flags don't own and create martial arts, well, the same is true of religion, but also more than that. Where I'm coming from with this is more that martial arts themselves are not religious entities. They are not belief systems, and yet people seem to treat them as they are. Let's get the basic thing off the table, which is, yes, a lot of martial arts systems have been tied to the local religions that either the founders or the practitioners practiced. Sure, that whatever, right? Those religions didn't create the martial arts. In fact, the martial arts were tailored around whatever ethos those religions were developing. That's a whole other story. What I'm getting in here, though, is more this cult-like aspect of some kind of almost belief structure that certain arts develop around them. Probably every art that comes to prominence comes up with this, but for the most part, it's really just a human thing to, when you buy into something, you tend to want to defend it. You tend to want to come up with every reason for why you chose this and not that. You have to come up with some justification for why the thing that you like, or the thing that you think is best, or the thing that you think is good even, is somehow worthy compared to the same claims made by others about whatever their things are. And so you end up with, I mean, look, the biggest one right now obviously is Brazilian jiu-jitsu. People have an absolutely religious fervor about it. And look, BJJ is a fine art. These people are excellent grapplers. They have a certain niche within grappling that they are particularly good at. I would not say that they are the best of all submission grappling. They just happen to be the most popular. But Sambo and catch wrestling hold their own. And the only reason you don't see more Sambo and catch wrestling guys is because those arts are not nearly as popular. And there are other grappling styles out there as well. A lot fewer, submission grappling styles and whatnot. But the point is that people have been sold, and, this came straight from the Gracies back in, the 90s and before. This came from the idea of, we're doing something and nobody can defeat us, and that's just how it is. And it turns out that wasn't true. Wrestlers have dominated the UFC since then, and the fact is that striking still wins more bouts than grappling does. It's not this be-all, end-all, the best of all worlds kind of thing. It's just that they've created this kind of cult-like atmosphere around it. The same was true of karate back in the 80s, a lot of kung fu styles back in the 70s. People get attached to things as if they are like these religious belief systems. And it's not only not necessary, but it's actually not helpful. And we would do a lot better to get past dogma. Now, the fact is, I'm not the first person saying this. People have been saying this for as long as I've been alive, well before I was ever even conceived, probably before my parents were conceived. Most of this stuff goes well back. But I don't think it's been said enough, or at least it hasn't been said in a way that actually works. It hasn't been said in a way that has actually made people listen. People still buy into hype. People still buy into, in general, the confidence of my system is better than the other guys. People buy into the marketing, right? And part of that marketing is that cult mentality. I mean, in a real sense, this is just gang shit. It's no different than, a street gang, a biker gang, whatever, that's just saying, like, you wear our colors and you're part of our group, and our group is the best, our group is the baddest, we do everything right, those other guys are wrong, they're dumb, they're stupid, they're bad. And we need to move past that. And look, I know this is going to fall on deaf ears just the way that everybody before me who said it has fallen on deaf ears. If you get to one person in a generation, I mean, that's progress. But we need to get past this deification of martial arts. I mean, at some point, you're just learning how to punch and kick and grapple and and use certain weapons and tactics and negotiation and strategy and conflict resolution. I mean, at some point, you're just learning how to do this stuff. And at some point, it's going to be kind of like going and picking up your tools, for a job. There are certain grades of things that, look, there's going to be the budget bottom bin stuff that you probably want to avoid for professional use and probably even for home gamer use. But then there's going to be stuff that's kind of fair to middling, and then there's going to be stuff that's pretty good, and then there's going to be kind of like some elite stuff. But you really know what that stuff is. That stuff's not styles. That stuff's not, categories of martial arts. That stuff is going to be like specific teachers, specific schools. And that's only because specific teachers have learned how to reach their students in an effective way to make sure that they're learning what they can learn and can perform at a consistent level. That's not going to be every single school of the most successful style. That's going to be a handful of schools. And just like the failures of, less successful styles are not going to be complete, there are going to be teachers that are doing particularly good work, but because the overall zeitgeist around whatever that style, that category, whatever, it has been so diminished that those guys aren't going to get any kind of limelight, not without some major upsetting thing that gains a lot of publicity. We need to stop giving our attention, we need to stop giving our support and like to kind of these arbitrary things. We need to actually start following, people that are doing good work regardless of style. We need to start following people that are, producing results regardless of whoever they might belong to, right? This is, like I said, right? It's not a religious thing. This isn't your dogma versus my dogma, anything like that. There are just many paths to the mountaintop, and certain teachers reach certain students well, and certain teachers don't reach certain students well. And not every teacher is going to be able to reach all students. It's just, that's just the reality of the situation. So again, let's kind of put that dogma aside. Let's put the religification of our arts aside. It's not about finding the one true path. It is about finding the teaching method and the group of people that works for you to develop the skills that you're looking for, to develop the attributes that you're looking for, and do so in an effective and efficient way that is overall, repeatable and has some sustainability and longevity across a fairly broad group. I mean, it's great if you find a teacher that works for you and that teacher works for nobody else. I mean, fine, great. But because we know that you're going to have more success touching hands with more people, you probably want to find somebody that doesn't only fit with you, but fits with a fairly wide range of people, but still gives you kind of the autonomy to test things out and become fully yourself within that teaching. So I'm done ranting on this. I'll talk to you guys later. Good journey. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Check us out on our other socials, and please head over to blacksunboxing.com to get a little more info, including how to contact us. Furthermore, if you are in the Phoenix area, please feel free to stop in, say hi, join in for a class, whatever. Also, if you ever see us cite sources or just for additional content, please check out our Substack. That is where we put all of the sources we use in our videos and is a major part of this. Plus, it serves as a membership platform for long distance learning and for people who would like to support us but aren't local. We would greatly appreciate it if you signed up. Even just the free membership helps us out a lot. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Good journey.